Okay, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of 20 Years and Counting, a Big Sky basketball podcast. I'm Jack Marshall. I'm with Max Duprat. This has to be episode number 8, I believe. And things have gotten really fun, really interesting in the Big Sky as the season winds down and we get ready for Starch Madness. And my Twitter is actually blowing up right now, so we have some things to talk about. There's some beef in the Big Sky Conference. Um, but before we get to that, let's just jump right into the weekly recap. Starting on Thursday, Idaho State. We're going to be talking about them. They stopped a 9-game win streak, and they beat Montana by 4. 29 points from Gus Etchison. Remember his name. Because then in overtime, Weber State, they outlast Montana State. That was a fun game. Trevor Henning, a little 19 off the bench for the Wildcats. Portland State set an attendance record in Viking Pavilion, and they win by 10 over Idaho on ESPNU. It was a big week for them. Keon Kenzie Jr., he drops 24. He's maybe their fourth best player, depends who you ask. So that's big. And finally, Eastern Washington, 102 points. They take down Sac State and Isaiah, the Alaskan assassin Moses, 26 points and 9 assists. He's a good passer. And moving on to Saturday, Eastern Washington, remember them, a statement win for their 6th win in a row. As the Eags down Portland State in Portland. Moses, again, 22 points, but Portland State wins a regular season title, at least a share, I believe. I think that they would have to lose 3 in a row, but they get at least a share for now of the regular season title. Their first since 2008. Idaho State, welcome back. A 91-76 win over Montana State. Remember that guy, the Gus Bus, Gus Etchison, 36 points and 8 assists. By the way, that's off the bench. Who is this guy? We haven't said his name on the podcast all year. Northern Colorado. They sneak out a win versus NAU. NAU second half comeback. Brock the Rock Wisney, 38, bro. NAU did not have the height to guard Brock Wisney. It wasn't very. They were winning pretty comfortably, and I turned it off. Weber, they throttled Montana. 0-2 week for the Grizz and the Cats. As Viami, the finisher, Bartiainen, Max Duprat nickname special, he gives the Grizz 25. And to round it out,
Finisher.
yeah, Pico Johnson, welcome back to the podcast. He has 25. Idaho beats Sac State, and then tweets about it. We're gonna get to that in a second. Let's check out the conference standings. Portland State 12-3, and with at least a share of the title. Montana State now in second, but they're tied for second with Eastern Washington. They're both 3 games back of Portland State. And then Weber is now in fourth place. They're 3.5 games back at 9-7. drops from third to fifth with a 2-loss week. And they're only though a game back from second place. So you never know. And then in 6 is Northern Colorado. They're also 8-7, so tied with too. So they're also a game back from second place. A 1 game difference between second and sixth. And then Idaho sits comfortably in seventh in the bye territory after that win. And they're a game back for Northern Colorado at 7-8. And then Sac State, Idaho State, and NAU go 8, 9, 10. NAU's 4-11. Sac is 2 games behind Idaho. So those 3 are calmly locked in the they don't get buys category. In KenPom, Portland State is at 145. They did drop a couple points because that loss to Iwu. MSU though went up quite a bit. They go up 8 even though they went 0-2. I don't know how that one works, but you never know. Northern Colorado, they're at 152. They do move up 2 with that win over NAU. Eastern, I didn't know where they were before, but they're now at 172. And dropped 45 spots in KenPom with that week. 183, which is
Yeah.
weird because MSU lost to both the 2 teams, but I guess it's just how it happened. And in the net, Portland State 130, so even higher than their KenPom. They're down 1. Montana State at 139, they dropped a little bit, and NoCo still at 144 in net third place. So Max, it was a crazy week of basketball. A lot of maybe parity, you could say, across the conference. Some fun
Yeah.
guys going off. So just what's your first takeaway from the week of Big Sky basketball?
Um, first, I'm gonna start before anything. I looked this up super quick because you mentioned the obviously Portland State won a share of their regular season title. Hasn't happened since 2008. Um, do you remember who
No.
played for? No. There's a lot of guys who played on this team. There's one guy in particular. Do you who by the way never played professional basketball at any level. He ended up playing in the NFL. This guy played for the Portland State.
Basketball
You
team
know who
in
this is.
LA.
He played in the NFL. He is here. I'll give you even more hints.
And he
I
played
just
for
want
Portland State.
He played for Portland State. He was a fourth round pick. He played in the NFL from 2011 to 2017. He's a two-time Pro Bowler. He is a not Super Bowl champion. Sorry, just missed out on a Super Bowl.
Okay.
But he played. He was the starting tight end basically for like 4 seasons for this team,
Can
and
you give
just
me the
missed out on
can you give me the team?
the team that
Can you
the
give me the
team that he led,
division? The division.
AFC West. This is the team that he was most known for.
He played
It's a
tight
team you
end.
know well.
AFC, a team I know well. I'm more of an
That's a
NFC
team that
guy. Is it a team
it's a
you
team
know
that I
well?
know.
Oh,
It's a time a
okay.
team a
Okay.
team I know very
Let's
well.
not give it away. The tight end for the Denver Broncos in like the 2010s. Gosh, now I know how
Yeah,
you feel every time I make you like. I'm like, there's some guys that
I had
like
to.
one
I
of
had
those
to.
where it's like not Demarius. No, he's a receiver.
It's
Um,
it's it's close. It's a similar name to
Demarius
Demarius
Thomas.
Thomas.
Um, okay, give me another
Another
team he played for besides the Broncos.
he played for the Jags after the Broncos, and then he played for the
Oh,
Dolphins.
Delaney Walker.
No, not Delaney. No, because Delaney played for the Titans.
I swear he played for the
Uh,
Jacks.
it's a different AFC South team
Damn it.
that he played for. Um,
Uh, fuck, I don't know. I don't know who is it.
Julius Thomas.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. So Julius
So
Thomas was on
I
Portland
just wanted
State.
to pull, yeah, I just wanted to pull that crazy bit of like Big Sky stuff out. Julius Thomas did play at Portland State. He played for both the basketball team
Yeah,
and the
like
football
Jimmy
team.
Graham.
Yeah, so like he was like legit back in the
Oh
day. And
yeah,
then yeah, he
there's a
played
photo of him. I'm
Julius
pulling up a
Thomas and
I'm pulling up a Sports Illustrated article.
I love this.
That's
Yeah.
and so he was on the '08 Portland State team.
He was
That
on the last so the last time they won the regular season was 07-08, but they won the Big Sky. They didn't win the regular season, but they won the tournament the next season too, and Julius Thomas was on that team as well. So they were pretty darn good. You know, usually when you have an NFL player playing for for your team, I mean, it usually ends up going pretty well. I mean, look at Antonio Gates and um,
Jimmy Graham,
Graham
Mo Alley
and
Cox.
other yeah, like the guy, like it's athletes. Like you're just an athlete. And Julius Thomas was. I mean, he's 6'5", but not only is he 6'5", I mean, the dude was like a
Oh
tank.
yeah,
Like
here I have it for those viewers at home on the left side of your screen. You can see the game-winning dunk in the '09 conference tournament championship, and that wasn't the regular
there,
season, but that was it. He
there
was
you
first team All Big Sky. I'd hope he was first team All Big Sky Conference.
go. He won well because they won it back. They won the tournament back to back years. Then I don't know what owed because I'm pretty sure 2009 2010 was his last year there, but I don't know if they won that one. Uh, I'll have to Portland State.
He was a 4-year starter on their basketball team.
That's
And he
like
set a school
in
record for games played as a basketball player. And this guy went and played the NFL. That's crazy. And he got to play in 2 NCAA tournaments in '08 and '09. That's pretty cool.
oh they were actually really bad.
Their
In
football team.
'09. No, their basketball
Oh,
team.
so they must have been on a run in the tournament, conference tournament then. Because they made it to
Well,
March Madness.
so 2007, 2008, and 2008, 2009 they were really good, and then
Oh, I
2000
see. Okay.
2009, 2010, they had a coaching change. So it was Ken
Oh,
Bone for the two championship years, and that was before Bone went up to Washington State, I guess. But much like a lot of Big Sky coaches who go to Washington State, usually doesn't pan out too well.
and he only played football one season at Portland State.
Oh, was it what
They
year? Was it the last
the coach was
year?
walking around campus. Yeah, 2010. The coach was walking around campus, and they were like, "You're pretty big, son." And so it was his first time he played football since his freshman year of high school, and he caught 29 passes for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns in a run-heavy offense. So
That's
look at that.
crazy.
Um,
That's that's
and
insane to
he
me.
like obviously he was so big and like for like those numbers as a tight end, like they were like, um, he got to go to the East West Run game and made the combine. So that's just talk about a freak athlete. And the current Big Sky team, uh, Portland State team also has some freak athletes. Keon Kenzie Jr. is one of those guys. He's he's pretty talented. So anyway, that was
Yeah.
your you wanted to bring up the Portland
I
State.
wanted to bring I wanted to bring that up and kind of
Yeah,
segue that
flashback.
into like
That's cool.
the Darius Brown stuff. So obviously for people who don't know Darius Brown, former Montana State standout, went with Danny Sprinkle when he went to Utah State, transferred up with him, but he got a call up to play for the Cleveland Cavaliers as like a two-way guy. Um, and it was just something I was thinking about when that happened. Even though he didn't, I don't think he played. I didn't watch that game. I don't think he played. He just was on the bench, ready to go.
Mm-mm.
Um, but like it's one of those things where I don't. I think I kind of maybe take it for granted when stuff like that happens. But it is really cool to see Big Sky Conference guys get the call up like that. Like even if they're just guys on the bench, like it's to put into perspective, like how many Big Sky guys we did the like guess the last couple Big Sky guys who are in the NBA. Most of these guys transfer up nowadays, if they're that good. One of the like, I mean, he totally could transfer up like Money Williams and stuff, but like guys like that don't stick around very often. Dylan Jones is kind of the last guy I can think of who like probably could have gone up and didn't go up and stuck it with Weber State. I know like obviously I don't know if he probably realized his value at the power four was not going to be like not as prevalent. Like he plays well, but I think there are a lot of guys who know their value and where they're going to have the best draft stock, and I think that
Yeah, I
was
mean,
the
Dylan
situation with him
Jones is
sticking.
like he played like power forward and he was like power forward size, but he played like point guard every game, and you don't get to do that at the
Yeah,
power four.
yeah. So it was one of those things where like when you see guys like that, make the jump, it's neat. It shows you that any there at any level you can really excel, and there are just a lot of times where I didn't really clock to me like how big it was. But when you see a guy like Cedric Howard playing, or when you see Dame Lillard, you're like, I watched
Yeah,
those not Damian. I did watch play live when I was a little kid, but like it's hard for me to like rationalize stuff like that. But I just wanted to give Darius Brown a shout out, one, but also um, that the Big Sky produces professional players. It does. It's a league that should be, respected. It's one that think this podcast is very big on. We're trying to promote it. In a lot of ways. Like our job is to analyze, and we want to look at all the things, but we also want to promote the thing that we enjoy indulging in. And um, there's no better way to do that than to see guys, you know, a little kid in Bozeman who watched Darius Brown play, help them, win, see him on live television. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing. So I don't know, I just wanted to start off with like a feel good point. I feel like it's really easy to dip into the like crazy stuff, and we'll get into some crazy kind of like you know some stuff that's wild happening in the Big Sky. But I just want to start off with something positive today, that this Big Sky is a league that should always be accounted for. They create talented players. You see the Connects and the Cowards and the Isaac Joneses and like all these guys who have had their shot. So really happy to see Darius Brown, and I just hope that more and more guys decide to stick it out here, and more guys try to push for the pros. And I think we have quite a few guys in the league right now who should definitely try and push for that. So yeah,
And Dame Lillard won the 3-point contest. We didn't talk about this on the
yeah,
podcast yet. Yeah.
exactly. It was a big week for Big Sky content. Damian Lillard winning the 3 point. Darius Brown gets the call up. It's a good day, or it's
Yeah.
a good week.
And I could be completely wrong, but when it comes to real small conference basketball in Division One, I do feel like the Big Sky's a bit more luck when it comes to not winning tournament games, as we talk, as our podcast is named after. But they have had good luck getting some real good talent and turning guys into NBA players, which is sick. And I don't know that number for real, but I mean, not any other really. There's not very many really true small conference. There's mid-major guys who are NBA All Stars, but really, like Ja Morant is one of the only like NBA stars I can think of that went and graduated from a real small conference school. Um, and the Big Sky has that. And yeah, Darius Brown is happy for him. It's cool to see, like you said. I remember watching him in Boise that year. The Cats won it. When he was on
Yeah,
their team with Danny Sprinkle, probably Danny Sprinkle's last year, I think. Um,
yes,
Darius
yeah,
was he maybe wasn't even the most talented in terms of athletic ability player on that team. They're not even top
no,
three because they had great Osabor, who just finished playing at Washington last year, who was a big dude, and they had Raekwon Battle on that team as well, who
that,
he plays. I don't know if he's a G League guy now or he plays overseas right now, but he played at West Virginia last year in Big 12, and he was their leading scorer. Um, but Darius
he got
Brown's a
the
true point guard. I loved watching
yeah.
him play. He played really mistake-free basketball and really just he made things happen, and he was kind of a guy like if he was out there, you kind of trusted things were going well. So yeah, credit to him. But to zag away from the positives, well, positive. I think this is positive. A pretty crazy
God.
thing came across my Twitter this morning actually. So it had been up since the night. Late game last night. Idaho and Sac State were playing on Saturday. It actually got a little close. As we said, Idaho did end up winning. Biko Johnson, good game. Idaho basketball tweets. You know what? Why don't I'll see if I can pull it up for you guys at home. Um, Idaho basketball tweets that the final score buzz off with the sweeping emojis because they did get the season sweep over there. Um, Idaho, their logo 86, and they put in the instead of the logo for Sac State, they put in the logo for the show Last Chance U, which is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't really have that on the bingo card. And since this has been tweeted, well, one I tweeted that like I just quote tweeted and was like, well, this is kind of crazy. And then I went to work and then I get back I get back and someone like I go on break or something and someone had put like, oh, of course they took it down, cowards. But, like if you have a quote tweet, you can still see the tweet. So I just screenshotted that one, threw that one up there. And
Yeah.
since then, there's kind of been a bit of a Twitter storm. I'm not gonna lie about it. It's got 91,000 views on Twitter. Uh, people are pretty like reactive, and obviously we've talked about on this podcast. Here for you folks at home, here you can see it. The Last Chance U, Idaho. Um, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
crazy. I'll say a couple
You're
things before we talk about this too much.
yeah.
One,
Oh my
Sacramento State objectively is more of a last chance U type program. They do have a couple more mid-major drop downs, but I can't help but notice this was a direct shot at Mikey Williams because he is kind of like the last chance U guy. I mean, we made a draft around it on this podcast. He didn't play in that game. Cool. Uh, uh, dude, like it is. We're a Division One basketball teams. Like, if you win this conference, you don't get to play in March Madness. Like it's not. This is not NAI. I've covered NAI basketball. That's Last Chance U. We are nowhere near Last Chance U. But with that being said, Sac State is leaving. I do love Idaho tweets. I found another one. Hold on. I'm pulling up my Twitter bookmarks on the main. Actually, I might want to be careful doing that on the
You're
podcast.
okay. So I didn't realize how much your post had blown up. I had seen it
This has
initially.
all been in the last like
It
couple
posted
hours.
1,000 likes. your post, dude.
Well,
Every
yeah, and I looked at it in
oh,
the Idaho. Some couple reactions for you guys. The Idaho
oh,
Twitter is kind of crazy. Here's something from the Idaho Twitter. Um, Isaiah Brickner dunked on a guy from Idaho State when they were
just
playing,
beats the defense,
and they
and
tweet and they go, "That man has a family," in all caps, and then a little, I forgot parentheses. We assume.
that is like
I think that's either
so.
Connor Hollenbeck or Evan Arnott who dunked on there. So
Yeah,
they're good.
they're
They're pretty crazy. So Idaho, like you love the Twitter, but I will say, Idaho's Sac State, on the other hand, they didn't like it. Can you believe that?
oh,
And Hornets Nation, a big Sac State fan page, they have stood on business a lot recently. They said, if you're gonna post it, stand behind it, which I do agree with. And even Idaho fans are like, why do we take this down?
yeah.
Um, Won by 6 against a depleted team, which is true. There's some injuries on Sac State. Mark Lavernaw is banged up. Mikey didn't play, as I said, and they actually just won the national championship. Lame program. A couple other people were saying that it's Idaho is only mad because of how Sac State Idaho football game ended. I don't know if you remember that one, Max.
Oh,
Had
yeah.
something. There was always, I'll say there's always some BS going on with Sac State in Hornet Stadium with referees and stuff. I've seen some real BS
Dude,
happenings. That like just because I
we
watched the Grizz play, I'm like, there's always some BS going on down there. So like,
I don't.
fair enough. Um, but the final thing I'll end with before you weigh in on this, I thought it was funny, though like not the best burn. Like I think you can get them in some other ways. Most
Yeah.
important though, you only do this when you really can't have it come back to get you, which it probably won't. But if Idaho has to play Sacramento in the Big Sky tournament, I hope they have my tweet in the locker room like pinned on the wall. I wouldn't want to face Prophet Johnson after reading that tweet. Like,
No.
and it's not even an Idaho basketball team didn't tweet it. Like, there some assistant SID did, right? So that's anyway. It's kind of interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
Usually you don't tweet something if it can't come back to get you, and I don't know if it'll come back to get you. More people are saying disrespectful football coach who appeared on Last Chance U. Oh, people are saying this disrespects Last Chance U. A lot of reactions. So anyway, Max, fun day in the Big
There.
Sky though. What do you think of this?
That's so. This is like so funny to me. Um, like looking back at your obviously what's the funniest thing to me too is like like a bunch of the quote tweets are not even like Sac State fans. It's like Montana fans that are
Yeah,
quote
because
tweeting
I just
about
have a lot of Montana fan followers.
yeah, like we're obviously he and I we're very in the circle. So Montana guys are gonna see that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is very funny to watch guys like Brent quote tweet about it because he always has great reactions to this kind of stuff. But like it is like crazy because the how I think the big thing for me about this is like really how much people despise Sac State. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you are not like a Sac State fan, like the like vitriol that the Big Sky Conference as like an ethos feels is kind of insane to me. Like we made the joke a couple weeks ago when Prophet won the Player of the Week. Um, that like big why would the Big Sky pick a Sac State player even if they go off for like 30 plus points because they're leaving and they're leaving in pretty like dramatic fashion. It's not like it's well, I mean, and it's I wouldn't it's interesting to compare to like other situations too. I think oh what's a good one? Is it Utah Valley who had like their thing with the whack where they were
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're
They didn't
so
pay
like
out their leaving fee or whatever.
yeah, but I look at stuff like that and like who is on the side of the whack in this situation? Like even if the Utah Valley isn't like I don't really see where the conference really wins in that scenario because Utah Valley isn't doing the stuff that Sac State has done and I like the shenanigans I guess of Sac State like Utah Valley they feel like you can kind of like justify like that and also the whack is falling apart so like you can justify them trying to get out while they can like with the Sac State thing it's like they've done all this stuff to make the move up and it initially failed. Obviously, it's paying off now. They are in an FBS conference. Regardless of if people think it's like a good or bad move, like they got what they wanted. They're in the FBS now. Um, they're in the Big West, so they're in a more regional conference, I guess. But it is very funny to me to watch and see how many people, even if it doesn't directly affect your fan base, just despise Sac State. Not just like this effect. I didn't see any. I didn't look super heavy, but I didn't see like any Idaho quote tweets initially on like the post I was looking at of yours. It was like multiple Montana people, and then the Sac State people trying to be like, you know, put their foot down and like say their piece about it. But
I did see
yeah.
Brian Marceau, who's like the Idaho guy.
Oh right.
He
Or
said
so yes.
there's no lies in this, which yeah, I just don't agree. Like I don't know if I do love the show Last Chance U. I think there's some funny ways you can really get at Sac State, and you're right. There's a market for it.
Mm-hmm.
People, pretty much everyone who's not a Sac State fan or people around the Sac State program, um,
Mm-hmm.
seem to kind of be, mad at Sac, like you said. I think you can make fun of them for a lot of ways. A lot of it has to do with their football or their president, or like what they
Yeah.
said they're going to join conference wise. You can really get at
Mm-hmm.
them, and like there's a bunch of NIL money they said they had they didn't have. That would be kind of funny. Maybe call them like Bishop Sycamore or something. But Last Chance, I don't know.
Okay.
And there's actually been some Last Chance U guys who've played in the Big Sky, including Deshaun Heiler was a guard for Last Chance U who played at Sac
Oh
State. So technically, that's not even
yeah.
like the farthest comp. But guess what? That was him going up to Sac State. There was a guy from Southern Utah too, and Portland State had a Last Chance U guy like two years ago, I want to say. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I just thought some fun discourse. I'm enjoying that. It gives us some stuff to talk about in the pod. I do love when Twitter accounts are fun, like Idaho's. Um,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to make it or sack. I don't know what the bracket looks like now. We can
Oh
find the last
yeah.
looking one. Um, uh, I don't know where it would line up. It's probably shuffle. I'll have to use my brain a little bit and shuffle it around. But it is certainly interesting. I do feel like Twitter beefs have sort of been something that's ended for like Twitter beefs haven't as been as big as they used to, and I'm happy it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
back. I'm happy we're getting stuff, and that's what we're talking about. We missed that Sac State's leaving. Like I don't think you get that with Utah Tech and Southern Utah always. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of it. But yeah, so the play-in with where it is now. Would you like to know something?
No, I just pulled it up. I just pulled it up.
As of last week, I don't think the standings have changed from this either, Max. Idaho plays Sac State in the first round of the
Oh
Big
yeah.
Sky tournament if the standings stay where they are. Now Idaho could get on their horse and yeah, because I guess the Grizz and
Yeah.
Weber and Noco and Eastern have all shuffled here, with the like those four
Yeah.
five and then the is it 3-7 games? But
Yes.
right now Idaho and the standings is they're not too far behind. They're above Sac, but they're still behind Northern Colorado and the Grizz.
Mhm.
They would play Sac State round one, and man, I would be if it ends like this, which we don't have very many games left. I would be interested to see how that goes, and I know what would be hung up on the locker room in Coach Bibby's locker room.
That'll be a point. That'll
Yeah,
actually
I mean,
typically.
Yeah, it depends what your philosophy is, but like I think to me, it's always been like don't give free bulletin board material, and that's what Idaho did. I enjoy it though. I enjoy the discourse it brings, but I'd be a little
Yeah.
nervous if I was if we were on if I was like Portland State and I was making fun of Sac State, I'd be like hell yeah. Idaho, you're not very their basketball team is not. You swept them this year, but you're not. They were banged up, and we still got the tournament coming up. You know.
Do you think Biko Johnson was looking at Twitter after they won? He was like scrolling and he just gets wide eyed. Then he looks back at the bracket. It's like
Well, Idaho
do this again.
also, I'll pull that up too. Their Twitter account also tweeted um something about Biko Johnson score dropping 20 on Sac State. I think it was the SpongeBob meme. He's like, "You want to see me do it again?"
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. It was. It's even funnier
That's
the
that.
second time. Yeah. Want to see me drop 20 on Sac State, and then do you want to see me do it again? So
Oh my
anyway,
gosh.
it's
Yeah.
not much of a takeaway. It's more so like things are getting kind of fun with Idaho. Also, I guess the last final thought I have on that, and I don't really mean, I do think it's fun to make fun of Sac State, like I said. If Idaho was better, like Idaho's basketball team has not been great. Like they beat Idaho State and Sac State, and that's about it recently. They've had some, yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, um, what's your next point? Moving on from Twitter discourse.
I'll move to a different team. I'll move to a different team that's not really near the Palouse, but up close. I don't know. Cheney's in such like a weird spot where like I don't know like geographically what you would really call that other than Eastern Washington, obviously. But um, what happened? Okay, so this might be the most fascinating team that is exists in the Big Sky right now is Eastern Washington. And it's not just because they've won or will probably not lose for the rest. It feels like they aren't going to lose for the rest of the season. But
Never lose again.
they go to the stats. Like I just implore people to do some digging on the stats because I've done it and I've looked over it and I am just like appalled because there is no number that indicates in any way that Eastern Washington should be this good. They are a they are the bottom five in points per game. They are the second worst defense in terms of points allowed per game. Their margin is the third worst, and the only teams that are worse are Sacramento State, and that's mainly because of their defense. Um, and then Northern Arizona, who is like the probably definitively the worst team in the Big Sky right now. I think after this week, Idaho State has a little bit of the edge now, but Northern Arizona is probably the worst team. Even though shout out to them for keeping it within one to NoCo, that was impressive. They've given the Bears a run for their money. But like you look at field goal percentage, like they're right in the middle of the pack with stuff. They allow a ton of field goals, or they're teams are like some of the most efficient they are all season against Eastern. And it is fascinating me, especially another point like in um like the like three like a like the like 3 point per like the one place I guess they're like no yeah and then 3 point percentage yeah like there really is not like a place where you see them kind of peeking through and being like good at something. Like they're okay at quite a few things, and then they're like pretty below the bot, like close to the bottom for a lot of stuff. Um, they're kind of an anomaly to me. They don't even really I don't know. They don't even make a lot of free throws either. Like they're not, Sacramento State's like got them way beat, and they're Eastern's shooting less. Like their free throws made are like right in the middle of the pack. It is. I don't have a good answer. I just wanted to bring up like how much of an anomaly this team is because there is no number that I can find right at this moment that indicates that Eastern is a good team on paper. Um, but they have the Portland State gene right now. They just win games, and they flip the script on Portland State too. Portland State, who just was winning and they couldn't stop winning, Eastern has decided that they want to do that too, and the perfect time of the year. So, yeah, they're just a fascinating team. I would implore people to look at all the stats because I was mind boggled earlier when I was looking at it. Like there's just no way this team should be good on paper, but they are good right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about the big number that jumps out at me when you look at their 10 bomb stats as they played the 32 hardest schedule in the country, which are
Yeah.
non-conference, which would make sense why they were so bad. They were 2-13 coming in the
Mhm.
conference and not like a little better, but you're right. I mean, they're 253rd in defensive rating. That's not good, but they're 112 in offense. So I guess the outlier number is like when their offense goes, it really does go, and they are sort of unstoppable, which is kind of funny because I guess when you think of them, they're not like undersized point guard who's sort of their leading scorer. But
Mhm.
between him and Huey, who is a big dude down there in Hamilton, who's kind of become a
Mhm.
really good um, number two big man, they've kind of been able to
Yeah.
play some good basketball. I think we talked about it last week. They were doing a good job of slowing down the other team's best player. Like they did,
Yeah.
they let Money get a bunch. They didn't let Tijon Sane shoot very well, but Sac State, Prophet Johnson did still score 26 on him, but they just did the classic, like we just scored. Sac State is like such bad defense. They are able to still kind of win that game. And then Portland State, Jalen Henderson had an awful game against them. Um,
Yeah.
with all due credit, I mean Portland State's great, but Jalen Henderson went 4 for 17 against them. And so shout out. I guess that's really the only thing is like they have a good culture right now, and they've been
Mhm.
able to defend some of the other team's better players pretty well. So that's yeah, really the only thing. I mean, I love to see Eastern Washington as the second team in conference. It's pretty exciting to see how Coach Monson's done it, and it kind of shows he's definitely a culture guy, right? And
Oh
now
yeah.
they get NoCo, Northern Arizona, and Idaho all at home, so that's pretty exciting.
It it doesn't feel like they will drop it. Like I think
Yeah,
maybe Northern Colorado has a little bit of fight, but I would be shocked they lost if they lost a majority of those games. I think they win at least two guaranteed, and then Northern Colorado, Denker's gonna have to have a really good game, but I think Eastern will
yeah.
probably win that one too.
They're also sort of the inverse of those teams. You say like there's certain teams that are like on paper better than other teams
Yeah.
that always play down, like they play with their opponent. Eastern's kind of maybe one of those sometimes a team that on paper hasn't been as great as some of their opponents
Mhm.
or like coming into the season like have the best schedule and stuff, but they in conference have played all their opponents really well. Like the first two losses were by 3 and 4 before they beat Montana on the road, and then really
Yeah.
one of their worst losses this year was on the road at Weber, where they lost by 11.
Mhm.
But even then, they only lost to Portland State at home by 4. They lost on paper at NAU. They lost 92-86, but NAU made a lot of threes in that game. Only lost by 3 to Northern Colorado, and then obviously they're on a 6-game win streak right now. So they have done a good job of playing close. Um,
Yeah.
okay, a takeaway I had. I guess we can kind of group this all in a lot. I guess a lot. We have to talk about Portland State.
Mhm.
Couple things with them. Number one, um, kind of the conference. We'll talk about our power rankings later on. The conference seems to have shaken out to be Portland State's number one. MSU is maybe number two. They just had a bad road trip, and they're a team that has been injured and their depth is starting to kind of get tested. And then it's just a lot of mediocrity. It feels like really close, which we love. That's fun, but really, like we used to be looking for a clear fourth best team. Now we don't have a. I don't think we have a third best team anymore. And you could argue that there's now a debate for second best with Eastern's rise. So I think you're gonna get into maybe some seeding stuff about that. But one more thing I wanted to say is I was a bit critical. Portland State attendance numbers weren't that great. Okay. Um, but this weekend they broke their attendance record at home.
Mhm.
Okay. And they had a great time. I just want to know what's going on down there at Portland State because Max, I'm gonna send you a video here, okay? I'm gonna text it to you, and we're all on the podcast here too. Let me know when you get it pulled up. We're all gonna watch it together here, and I hope you haven't seen this video already, because we're all gonna watch it together.
There's a decent chance I haven't. I'm not chronically on social media as much as. Oh, I have seen this. I have seen this
Okay,
video.
we're just
Sorry.
gonna let it roll then. So
I'm
this
I'm
the
watching.
if you're on the podcast, this older gentleman has his shirt off. There's a bunch of football players behind him with shirt off. Gets a little too rowdy. He falls back into this other guy behind him. And then they show this other guy who's definitely a football player at Portland State rips his shirt off. He's got the wife beater on under it, his tats. He's going crazy. And guess what? This older guy's like, "We're not done yet." So anyway, I love to see that from Portland State. Helped them to secure the non-con. Even his friends are ashamed of him. I love to see that though.
That's
We got this slow mo,
that's a
but
beautiful.
yeah, I just one. I'm glad that Portland State is doing this and breaking their crowd records. I think it's weird they didn't do it. Like they should have been doing this for the Montana game and Montana State game. Like I don't know why
Yeah,
it took until Idaho. It was cool they got an ESPNU game, but yeah, I
yeah.
just wanted to show that video and say that Portland State has been fun. I did say like I was a little disappointed in their attendance numbers. They yeah made me eat my word. It looks like a great time. I don't want to play them in Viking Pavilion right now. And we're gonna get into bracketology, but Max, like I just said, Portland State's number one. You think that we might I don't know if Portland State's going to be our chance to break the 20 years and counting, but if they don't win the tournament, seems like maybe we got first four.
Well, so obviously, first four, it's the worst four ranked teams going into the tournament for people who don't know. But it's it's fascinating to me to look at the rest of the Big Sky. Um, because you mentioned the like there's no really clear two. Like yes, we can say Montana State. I am not after this week, it's like how can I say like, oh, MSU is certainly the second best team when they got killed by Idaho State. They got murdered by Idaho State. And Montana only lost them by a little bit, but like that's the thing. Like that we can't like the gap between every team that's not the Vikings is so much like thinner than I think we're really giving it credit for. And it's not because Montana State's a bad team, it's because the Big Sky Conference, like you mentioned earlier, has a lot of parity. These are teams that, that's I have my in my tier list, like these teams, I think the Gotson ball players and mid teams are a lot closer together than we realize. I really think there's one great team, that's Portland State, pretty clearly. Um, their most recent loss against Eastern is kind of they're playing the miracle team. You play a miracle team, you get a miracle result, and that's Eastern doing what they needed to do. And then you have one very clearly bad team, and that's NAU, and that sucks, but it's true. Like, but other than those two spectrums, everybody else is really cramped in the middle. Um, and so we saw it with Montana State when they made the tournament and they lost to Grambling. I feel like if these teams all start to kind of lose random games and they're all about like right within a game or two of each other, um, and Portland State ends up not making it happen, which I mean, we've seen it happen before. We've seen the tournament favorite get upset. It's not very hard to do, actually. I mean, I watched one of like the best like Big Sky teams I've ever seen in the Eastern Washington, the 2023 Eastern Washington Eagles with Venters. Like that team was unbelievable. Um, Probably should have won the whole thing. Lost to NAU, first game of the tournament. I don't think it's impossible that Portland State could. It's not because they're not good. It's because, with Starch Madness, once you're in the fryer, you better start cooking. Is all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. So you have to really lock in once it comes to Starch Madness. So yeah, I just think it's a first four game in the future because I just feel like a lot of these teams are just going to start to lose random games in these last three. Um, I don't think Montana is going to go undefeated in this last stretch. Don't think MSU is going to go undefeated. I think the only team that is going to go undefeated, like other than Portland State, um, is Eastern. I think Eastern probably has the best other chance, but I think the rest of these teams are going to lose random games. Um, when you have records like that, when you have rankings like that, I just don't. I don't know. Might get that 15, but don't be surprised if it's a first four, which is better for the podcast name
Yeah.
People just haven't realized that it's way better if we get the first four for the purpose of this, but it's okay. If we would rather be a 15 seed and maybe have a slightly better chance of winning a game of of more reverence, but also if if um if they could get like Belmont in the 16 first four, you'll take it. So I actually don't know how good Belmont is. That was just the first name I thought of because we were talking about him last.
I hope you don't have to
Look
eat
up,
your words. I'm about to look up what conference is Belmont play in.
look up for people who are watching for Big Sky Conference basketball. Look up Belmont's Kevin McLean and
Oh
look up
gosh.
their first four. Their look up their first four game against Temple. 29 points. He's a dog. He's still playing basketball. I'm pretty sure actually. That was bad. That was a couple years ago now. Kevin
That's good for
McLean.
him. I'm happy to hear that from Kevin
He
McLean.
plays for MLP Academics Heidelberg of the Basketball Bundesliga. Okay, that's pretty big.
Yeah,
Bundesliga
no,
is like one of the
good for
best
him.
soccer.
Um, the last thing I want to talk about is the Gus Etchison uh madness going on. We're gonna talk
Okay.
about him a little later, but like maybe one of the craziest stories I feel like I've seen in a minute. This guy is from Indiana, Midwest kid. He's listed at 5'11", 150 on their website. He's definitely 5'10". Their announcers were saying he was 5'10", so like, you know. um, he started their first. Okay, let's go back. Let's just follow his whole career. He is a dog in high school. He dropped 56 against his rival high school in Indiana.
That's great. In Indiana, that's like basketball.
I know.
That's like
Like even in the low levels, it's hard to do that on his rival's head, bro. Um, and he's 5'10". Like he's not like you see like some like 6'6" guys. You're like, well, yeah, no wonder. Like no one could. He's tall enough to guard him. He's a hooper. So then he gets to go to Western Michigan because he's a baller out of high school, like a MAC school. And he did play in 36 games, including as a freshman. He played in 26, but he got injured. Um, and obviously not maybe big enough to play in the MAC. So he transfers to Marian University, NAIA shout out. I love an NAIA guy. He was a dog, believe it or not. 22 points a game at Marian, which is back. That's his hometown. He went back. Oh no, sorry. They're probably close to each other though. I'm gonna guess. Um, but he went and played NAIA ball. Bought into himself. 22 points a game his first year. You know, kind of a dog. Then he gets hurt his second year there. He played in 6 games. He gets hurt. He was averaging 19 a game, right? So he dropped 36 against Michigan Dearborn. Got hurt. Transfers to Idaho State. Starts their first 5 games this year. And then all of a sudden, kind of just gets benched. Honestly, like it wasn't working. Um, he scored 15 in like their second game, but just couldn't be consistent. Took a bench role. And then he scored 20 once in conference at Montana State. And then this week, just goes absolutely nuclear. Which you love to see. You love to see a guy like Gus Etchison, 5'10", an absolute dog. Um, Scored 36 and 29 over the weekend. So just a cool story. Even at the end of the year, you have a guy who he'd only really been in double digits a couple other times this year. Scored 15 against Denver, 15 against San Diego. But there's a couple games when he didn't. He didn't even score against Sam Houston. He didn't score against Montana when they played, or Weber when they played him. So pretty cool. To see the Gus Etchison storyline. Um, when you have a parlay, and Montana money line, because that's what we picked on our podcast, and you turn on your TV, and a guy like Gus Etchison is pulling up from deep. Like those shots go. Like there's nothing quite fear when this. Like I was watching the game, and as the weekend went on, I liked him more and more. But there's no talk. Every time Gus Etchison touched the ball, I was like, oh no. It was terrible. It was terrible. He
Yeah.
did some. He did some. He did some bad things to Montana and my. He ended my parlay, but the Weber beating Montana State in overtime also did. So I was kind of cooked regardless. But
Hmm.
um, anyway, Sac State's Barstool account just called out Idaho here in real time on the podcast.
Let's
They
go.
call them Idaho, Idaho. So,
Real original.
really
Yeah.
funny one. Really got him. Anyway, I'm gonna look up some Idaho State Gus Etchison highlights. While you. Oh, he liked my tweet about him too. By the way, so shout out
Oh,
Gus.
God. Hey,
I'm gonna
big
turn on
Gus.
some Gus Etchison highlights for the people at home to watch. If you have any words to say about the guy.
You guys are in for a treat.
Yeah, he's a hooper, man. Look at that
He
guy
he
go.
is.
Do you have anything to say about him though, other than what I said?
No, I echo your sentiment.
Pull
I
up,
feel like
pull up, Jay.
I I feel like it's really hard for guys to, especially confidence wise, to go from
One.
an F from a from a MAC conference where you think you're gonna play a lot and then you get injured, then you have to go down to NAI. Like it's not like there's no talent.
He
What
just
do you,
put a guy in a blender. That's I'm not gonna
you
shout him
you
out,
guys
but
are
he
having
played for a rival
the
high school.
the people who are watching this on YouTube are getting
This is probably what it was
a
like watching
show.
Damian Lillard. Hey, dude, no one can
Does
stay in front of this guy.
does Gus remind you of somebody?
Number 0. You know what? I like. You know what? You know what? He reminds me of myself a little now that you mention it.
Is
Uh
this like
oh,
what was
pull
the
up,
most you
hand in
ever
his
dropped
face,
in White
bang.
Sulphur Springs?
Uh, I was kind of like the best nights for me in high school basketball, like 15-point nights. I didn't shoot
So
a lot
you're
of threes. Offense didn't run through me. I was a facilitator, so.
all right. Okay, it's well. I just wanted to. Gus deserves all the hype in the world because it's hard to, as a guy who is the dude clearly in high school. Like I don't think people realize the kind of confidence that you have coming out of high school. Guys who are the number
You're
one.
frying these guys, man.
Like imagine you play like that and then you get to the D1 level and you don't play. You
Oh,
just sit on the bench and
back,
watch.
back in one.
God. I can't even see. Is this like this
This
high
is him
school
against
highlight?
Montana State. He's
Oh,
going
okay.
nuts. Hey, contact, get off of me. Dude, he didn't even he made threes, but like a lot of these are like contested layups. He's teamed. Stay in front. Hey, lay. He's fat. He does remind me of myself a little
Matt Logie was scared. He saw Gus step into the
bit. Gus
court.
Etchison. They were like, "Oh,
He's
he did
like,
it
this
against the Grizz. He probably won't do it against us."
guy should have been a
He
Bobcat.
had his Linsanity game.
He did.
He knew he
That's
was
true.
about.
This is Gus sanity, folks. This is Gus sanity. We're you better enjoy it while it happens because he might be on the bench next week and we won't know why.
Okay, so in the
Um,
bracketology, like we were talking about Portland State, you ready, or do you have anything else to say, Max?
no, I'm ready to go.
Okay. ESPN, they've liked this matchup for a couple weeks. Number 3 Florida versus number 14 Portland State, but drop Portland State in Tampa. You've already given your analogy for that game. Net updated today. Number 2 Houston versus 15 Portland St. Louis. I've watched some Houston Cougars basketball. Anyway, our boy DJ Bowertology, um, former coworker, also has Florida versus Portland and Tampa. Um, we've talked about Florida would not be a fun game in Tampa. Houston is so damn
No,
good, Max. I watched them play Iowa State, and I watched the highlights the other night of them playing Arizona, which they did lose that game. But oh my gosh, they're such a good team. The last team I would want to play if I was Portland. Like I would rather play Florida over them. Maybe it's my Big 12 bias, man.
I I mean Houston's they're good. I think it's really tough too in the Big 12. Like I'm also a Big 12 guy. Um, I watch like a lot of Kansas basketball. Um, and you like watch around and like you look at like a lot of the teams in there, and it's just insane how competitive it really is. Like it's hard to call like for instance, I mean Houston's lost. They lost to Iowa State. I mean Arizona's lost to Kansas, and Kansas just got murdered by Cincinnati. Like the conference is good, and so Houston being number two, like that is a team. Yeah, like the SEC every year gets a lot of hype, and the SEC people think it's the best basketball conference, and then they send a bunch of teams, and then
Rebound bump. Get it ahead.
like
Etchison for
Florida's
the
luck.
three.
They're very happy that Florida
Gus.
won something recently because I mean, it was like for a while it felt like kind of like Kentucky and who else, and then now it's like Florida better keep winning because SEC always kind of disappoints in the tournament to me. Like I feel like you think they're going to be a little better. Big 12, you do not like. You don't want to see Big 12 teams in the tournament. Like maybe Kansas, you're okay with the Derek Peterson stuff, and like you don't like some of their losses. Houston, you don't want to play. You don't want to play Iowa State. You don't want to play. You don't want to play Arizona. You don't want to play any of these teams. So I would agree. I think I would rather play Florida. That's like still not a great draw. Um, but holy crap, Houston, like they're gonna get picked to win it all in a lot of brackets. I'd be interested to see what the bracket share is once those open up after conference tournament season. Like what where how many people are going to have Houston winning it all because that is a good team that is not emblematic of their losses. I can tell you that much. So they do not lose easy games. They will beat the shit out of you first. So yeah, don't want to play them.
I don't want to sound the alarm, but sorry to zag a little bit. We've gotten since the start of this podcast, this whole Idaho tweet thing has gotten like 50,000 views. People are mad, man. And there's some real, which is great. I love how it's going up. But yeah, um, I couldn't agree more. Houston, they got that freshman who's super good, and they got a couple other good, really good guards. Don't want to play them. I don't want to play Florida either. But yeah, who do you want to be your player of the week?
I mean, it's Gus Sanity.
Yeah, Gus Sanity is here. Gus Etchison, it's gotta be. We've picked like the last three in a row, I think. It's been pretty
I mean,
easy because it was
well,
like Profit,
it's
and then it was like Denker's last week was very easy.
yeah the week I picked Terry Miller was kind of a bad pick for me, but I also that was a little bit of a weird week because there was a lot of split results. But that
Yeah,
was kind of the last. That was like the last time, but you got that right. I forget who that was, but you got
yeah.
that one
It
right.
was that was also Denker, I believe.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, because he had the 14-point game, and then he had like the 35-point like
Yeah, he had the crate
crazy.
with a bunch like 15 assists or whatever.
Yeah, so it was one of those weird weeks where like it was split results and like Denker had like one amazing like game of the year for himself, but he had like an okay other game. And then Terry Miller just shot a lot of shots and ended up getting 20 points and I was like, okay, that seems seems fine.
Yeah, I guess
But
when we were talking about Portland State, what I didn't mention is their coach is super fun. Like he seems to be doing,
yeah, cool.
he seems to be maybe next week because season won't quite be over yet. Maybe we'll do our.
Mhm.
I want to do a grade where we grade each coach's like their job security level, and the coaches
Oh,
mainly Portland State's guy. Like he's on the short list of coaches who might be going up and then low. So
oh,
we could also grade maybe some good fits for him.
yeah.
I wonder because he seems like if he even after this year with the way he's built that program, um, won't be there for long. He's young. He's excited. He drinks a C4 before every game. Um,
Yeah, the C4, did
yeah.
you watch that video? Did
I watched it
the
live on a
players talk?
broadcast like a couple weeks ago. I was like, he's drinking a C4.
Oh, yeah. That that is really
We
funny.
should
There's a
both
good
get one before the next podcast.
Oh god. Okay. I'll do that. I actually oh man, I feel like there should be if Portland State wins the whole thing, I should just chug a C4, man.
What was it you were
Actually,
saying?
how
What was the promise you promised last week?
oh, it was like if NAU beats Portland State, I'll chug a gallon of milk.
It wasn't.
Which
It wasn't if EWU beats Portland State.
no, it was NA. No, it was
Oh,
definitely NAU.
okay.
Dude, why would I ever bet? Because Eastern's like
Yeah.
decent. It was Northern Arizona. You're trying to get me to chug
Okay. Okay.
a
Okay. Sorry.
gallon of milk.
Sorry. I had to review the footage. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Because Portland State did play on the road.
Yeah, their game against NAU, which they by the actually to be fair, NAU played them within 9,
Yeah,
so
it was
pretty
Portland
good,
State had a
pretty
bunch
good
of
deal.
turnovers in the first half. I watched some of that game.
Yeah.
Okay, you're off the hook. Okay, Gus Etchison is our player of the week. It's time for a Thursday pick 'em. I didn't pick 'em yet, so let me think about it for a little bit.
I'll
You read off
here.
the
Well,
slate for me. How about you, Max? And I'll
Read
think
them.
about
I'll
it.
read them off. I'll be the Thursday pick 'em. I'll host this. First, Sac State at Montana, big game. Shaq's gonna be there. Uh, who else is gonna be there? Who am I? Who is also gonna be
Mikey
there?
Williams.
Mikey Williams,
Mike Bibby's
Prophet
gonna be there
Johnson,
too.
Mike Bibby, Phil Jackson's going to come back to Montana. Deer Lodge guy, he's going to return. Um, who else? Doug Christie's going to say, "Screw it, I'm done with the Kings. I'm coming. I'm going to watch my former teammate play."
Montes
They're all going to
Sabonis.
be here.
Yeah, yeah.
DeMontis Sabonis, he's going to say, "Screw it, I hate the NBA. The Kings are a trash franchise. I'm going to watch the college team play in Missoula." Um, so yeah, so they're playing at Montana. Really tough road. Like I mean, all their road games have been tough, but this will be a tough one for them. Portland State at Montana State, kind of redemption for Portland State this week after they're obviously coming off the Eastern loss, but they had a split. They had the split homestand where they lost to Montana, but they beat Montana State. You can start well by beating Montana State, getting the season sweep, and getting revenge against Montana on Saturday. So really big game for Portland State this week. Obviously for Montana State too, but I think Portland State doesn't matter if you got this share. This is a huge game for them to get the season sweep. NAU at Idaho. This will be, I think, an interesting one, but obviously NAU is bad, but
I don't even
there is
know if they're
just
like
something
that
about
bad. I don't. They're pretty fun to
I,
watch.
they, they play teams close, but they're just like they never win, but they never play them close enough that it's like, oh, they're like super unlucky because I don't really think they're unlucky. I think they are just not that good,
Yeah.
but they just aren't enough to be like so. They're just bad enough that they lose games by a margin that seems like reasonable for a bad team. But they're not getting blown out every game, which is nice to see. Um, and then Northern Colorado at Eastern, I think that'll also be a super fun game too. I think this is actually a really good slate of Thursday games. Northern Colorado, I think Denker is going to be really looking forward to this one, trying to show off. And I mean, Eastern's going to try to keep doing what they do, and Monson's got them on the right path. So I think this Thursday is one of the best Thursdays of this is one of the better Thursday slates of the year, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of really fun
Yeah.
games, even if some of them are a little lopsided.
Yeah. Um. So getting at picks. Um. Yeah, and you're right. They're fun games. Last week there was a lot of close spreads. Both the Montana. I should have known way better. We had already picked. When I saw that Idaho State was Montana was only 1.5 against Idaho State on the road, I should have known. Like every time, I think like, oh, that team's gonna like it's gonna make a 4 spread. Like the book is gonna like that team to win. And I look,
No.
and it's a lot closer. I'm always like, oh no, like or like the other team is favored. I'm like, oh no, like that my pick is gonna be wrong. Like, but we stand on business on this podcast. So we pick them in the week, so there is gonna be some close lines. Once again, if you're betting with us at home, if you pick a team that has plus points, keep the points. But if you pick the home team, we pick the spread. we just money line them, and if you pick the road team who's favored, we money line them, but we take the points. Um, Starting with Sac State, Montana. All four games at 7 p.m. You know, we both picked the same. My reasoning on this one, I was looking in like at a lot of like I feel like I was trying to pick based on like how the conference has gone and like how the teams match up.
Mhm.
But the first couple weeks I went just on vibes, and that's when we picked a lot better, and we've still picked well. We're well above 500 on picks this year. Both of
Yeah.
us. Sac State is coming to Montana. Montana has not played well at all recently. Sac State is still yet to win a road game, and I know when I try to pick like hasn't won a road game yet, it backfires. But I think the Grizz should be fine in this one. I think they'll yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
They know there'll be a real riot if this game goes wrong. Like they'll be like
yeah. I mean, I feel bad. I feel bad for Travis DeCure because I feel like his job gets called for every once in a while, like when they have like really weird low seasons. But um, like they're gonna lose some bad games this year, and that sucks. They might not do well in the tournament, but this is a team that's super young and is like still like very much on the verge of being really good. Um,
and
and they're gonna win this game. So I don't know. It's
and
just people
Sac
want
State
them.
to me doesn't have much to play for. Like they've kind of already lost their chance at getting a bye.
Yeah.
Um, The Grizz, though, very much still are trying to fight for that. Like they can even get to the 2 seed if they play well enough. So it feels like they're gonna
Yeah.
win one. Next, Portland State, Montana State on the road. When the first time they played, Portland State did beat the Cats pretty handily. You
Mhm.
like Portland State is gonna be favored in this one. I have a feeling just based on metrics, but I never know.
Yeah.
Just same thing. I think Montana is gonna be favored by like probably like 2.5. They usually are
Mhm.
like pretty much every home game they play. I think they're like 2, 3.5.
Yeah.
You like Montana State, which means maybe with the points. I like Portland State in this one.
Yeah. I think my big reasoning behind it, I don't know. I feel like Portland State is maybe on a bit of like a downtrend. Like I think they split this week. Like I think they get revenge over Montana, but I don't think they get the season sweep over Montana State. Is kind of my opinion. I think Montana's probably playing a little bit worse for what they are, and I think Montana State like all season has been playing way above expectation with the amount of injuries and stuff. And I think they just have it in them to get a really good win. It is extraordinarily hard to play. Um, at Brick Breeden. Like it's a tough place to play. Um, they're not impervious there, but I don't know. I really like the Cats. I think they're probably gonna be really pissed. I think Logie's pissed about this last week. I think you would be hard pressed to see them not want to sweep this one and like really stamp yourself as the number two team. Try to get that. They have Portland State obviously still has stuff to play for, but I think Montana State has a little bit more fire right now, knowing that the 2 seed is still very much up for grabs, especially after the week Eastern had. So um, I like Montana State. I think they'll have a bit more fire. And Portland State, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say like the plane ride is going to be brutal, but like I mean, it's never fun. Montana's been really nice this time of year, but it's never fun to come to Montana in late February. You know, the what you never know what it's going to be like in terms of condition and environment. So can really mess with your psyche, especially for those teams that have to make the longer plane ride. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, to me it just jumps out as a game. It was a really low scoring game. It was actually 63-54 last time we played each other, where Portland State has a chance to win it outright, and Montana State was really the
yeah,
only team, I guess technically now Eastern, could tie it with them. But I guess I think kind of has to be Montana State to be well. I guess 1 seed's always anyway. And I think this is just their shot, and it's like their coach is gonna get to be like, "Hey guys, if we win this game, we're the 1 seed, and like we don't have to even care about the last couple games."
yeah,
I think that makes me think Portland State's gonna come and play well. You never know in the brick. And more so, I
yeah,
just think Portland State's kind of a bad matchup for Montana State. I
Yeah.
guess Minot got 5 fouls and only scored 4 points in that game, but they're two bigs. I just don't think UM quite has, or MSU quite has the bigs to match up quite as well, like really big guys to, because Miller Jr. had 16 the first time they played, and Kenzie Jr. played really well too, and he's a taller guy. So I don't think the matchup's great for MSU. So that's just
No.
why I picked Portland State. That'll be a fun game though. You're right. Okay, moving on. NAU at Idaho. Every time you pick NAU, I don't like it because that means I'm gonna turn on the TV and NAU is gonna be like Bosch and threes. Um, but you picked NIU. I like Idaho in this one. I've been critical of Idaho's team on this podcast. I still don't think they're
Mhm.
very good. I do still think they're better than NAU at home. Um, this one though makes me nervous because I just never
This
know
is
with
a trap.
NAU. This feels like a trap game, and Idaho
This,
hasn't been
this
great. And they came out flat against Weber lad 2 weeks ago. Like, yeah, I'm definitely worried, but they have, once again, it comes back to like they have something to play for a little more, I think, this week because they still
yeah.
want to get a little higher up and get their matchup figured out, maybe. So, or yeah, because if you look at the standings, they are a game behind NoCo and UM,
Mhm.
so they could maybe try to sneak back in. So I think they're going to be playing a little harder. But NAU has proven to us like when they don't really have any reason to win, they can win.
Yeah. I got two words for you. Ryan Abelman.
Okay.
He is going to. My prediction is that NAU is going to have a good week, even if they don't sweep the week. I think they're going to have a good week this week. They get, you know, I think they're going to beat Idaho. I think there's something about this game that feels like a trap game. Idaho's coming off the Sac State win. They're talking, ish on Twitter. The whole
Yeah.
everything's all blown up. Biko Johnson has a great game. Like things are looking high. Then NAU comes to town, and the Lumberjacks are looking to chop some wood. I just don't, listen, this could just be the crazy talking, but I just feel like this is like the perfect scenario for Idaho to lose to like their worst game of the year. Like
Yeah.
it feels like it's gonna fall like right into their like they're like, oh, we're beating up on Last Chance University, and we're we're making we're making
Uh,
fools of the TikTok stars, and then you watch the Lumberjacks come to town. You watch Ryan Abelman shoot 12 threes in your face and
that's
kill
not.
you.
The first
It's
time they played it was 79-62. By the way, that's because Idaho outscored them 47-23 in the first half. Um.
that's an old
Uh.
team. That's
Yeah,
an 80
Isaiah
team.
though Isaiah Brickner scored, it was 31 points off the bench. He went 12 for 16. I don't think we're gonna
When's the
get that
last?
again.
I don't know if Isaiah Brickner's had like even close to as good of a game since then. Like
Let's check it.
no
Let's
no
pull it up.
disrespect to Brickner,
He scored
but I
22 in their last at Portland State, and he scored, yeah, but
right, okay.
that's certainly his season high. Other than when he was the player of the week when they beat North Dakota and he scored
Yeah.
26.
Which, by the way, like shout out to Isaiah Brickner for that week when we were looking back when I was looking back, they swept South Dakota State and North Dakota. By the way, North Dakota, very good team in like that's so good stuff. Going into conference, Idaho looked solid. Those are really quality wins.
Yeah,
But I think they're going to get a really quality, a really not quality loss this week to um, the Ryan Abelman and company.
yeah.
No.
Carl Poom scored 13 in that game for NAU, the only double figure scorer. So, yep.
Well, that's because wait, gosh, yeah, no, that's all I've got for that game.
I was gonna say anything else. Final game is gonna be Iwu Noko, which is gonna, I think, a great game. Um,
Yeah,
I keep picking Iru and it works out and they're on a win streak and I love them. I just like for some reason in my heart I just feel like I have to zag this one. I don't know why. And it is in Sheeny.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be fun. Denker versus Moses. I'm excited for it, and I could be wrong, but for some reason, especially if Noko is kind of a like we said, like they always get a couple points. So I'll probably just have to
Yeah.
money line them, but I am a little nervous, but I'll pick Noko, I guess. You can have the Eags, but
Yeah. They'll. I mean, I just think Eastern's the hottest team right now. They're, like
we know it's gonna
for
be
Northern.
close too.
Yeah, like it'll be close. It'll be close. This is going to be a really fun game to watch. Like I definitely like as I as someone who works in sports and has to be at a lot of like high school events, usually I have to pick and choose my games that I kind of like pay attention to. Um, this is, I mean, like Portland State MSU is probably going to be like one, and then NoCo Eastern's probably a really close two for me in terms of the games I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to on that Thursday night as I watch the Northwest Day playing. Um,
Um,
but yeah, so be a good one.
First time I played was a 3-point game in Greeley. Um, Let me see, how did it end? Twin
I
Knifer
mean,
did not have a great game.
those
Isaiah Moses didn't go crazy either. Um, Alton Hamilton did have a good game. So yeah, it should be
that's what I
pretty
like to
pretty
hear.
fun. Let's see. Here we go. It was 62, and I don't think they give the 70s. Stick with me here, folks. I bet it was a fun game. I don't remember watching this one. Must not have. Maybe it was we were at a game. Okay, so it was Eastern led 71-72 after Isaiah Moses got fouled with 7 seconds left. Just Zach Block fouls. Well, Wisney makes a shot. Wisney made 2 free throws. They're up 3. Moses then gets fouled. And he makes 2 free throws, so they're down 1 Eastern. And then they had the foul. They foul Wisney. He makes 2 more, so they're up by 3. And Hamilton, the fourth, who's their post, took the 3-pointer with 1 second left and missed, which kind of feels like not maybe the guy I'd want to take a 3 there. It kind of seems like
No,
Eastern tried to come back into it. They were down 67-70. They were down 64-70, so they almost came back late. So anyway,
6-7.
okay, enough of that. Enough of that.
Oh, can I shout out someone for the NAU? I know we're off the NAU game, but last Chris Coleman, 34 points when
Oh
they
yeah,
played
he's
Northern Colorado.
he's a true freshman.
Yeah, like that's crazy. That's all I want to say about that. I
Yeah,
just want
he's
to
come
shout
up
him
and
out.
put 35 on the head of
Dude,
Idaho.
Chris,
Not that I've got money on him.
they get the co-minister of defense is what they're going to start calling him. He's going to lock down your best guy and he's
Oh,
going to drop
also Northern
34.
Colorado is also a hot team in the Big Sky. That's kind of why I like them too. And
There.
Eastern, I feel like is great. I feel like sometime it has to run out. Okay.
Yeah.
Max is 20-8 in picks, by the way. I'm 17-11, 3 worse, but I could flip it around. We have 3 different picks this week. I could flip it. We could tie it up. We haven't hit a
Yeah.
parlay in a while. That's fine though. Tier
Watch.
list.
Oh,
I didn't update anything on my tier list except for I don't think MSU is a guaranteed championship game lock anymore.
yeah.
Oh no, I still think they
Go.
are. Sorry. I moved Sac State down to mid if they weren't there already. Yeah. Oh, I moved down. I got some ball. I don't think we changed too much. You made a move too, but
Yeah, I just put MSU and from champ game to ball players. I think MSU, Weber, Eastern, and NoCo are all in the same tier. Like they all have guys who can go off at any given night, but they're not guys who are going to be, you know, there. It's not like a bunch of teams that are like guaranteed ship bound. Um, but definitely, which is what I kind of like though. I kind of like these like scrappy teams that any guy can kind of get something, and they're good enough that they can be in that championship game. Idaho, Sac, and I have to give credit to Idaho State. I had them in bad, but I'm going to say mid because they had really quality wins this week, and they played up to their competition. There's the only NAU is really the only team that hasn't really been able to do that this year consistently, and Idaho State had a full week of that against arguably the 2 and 3 in the conference. So they deserve to be mid at least for 1 week. That could change next week if they have terrible play. But I'm going to put them in mid. But they're like on the edge. They're really teetering. They really have to. I mean, if they win 2 of their next 3 games, keep them mid. They'll stay in mid. But yeah, NAU is the only bad team for me. And if they sweep this week, who knows? Maybe they'll just be mid because then
There's
everything's
nothing
going to
I
be
hate more
wild.
than NAU when I bet against them because I've lost twice. I lost Eastern, one of their like worst losses of the year. I bet I picked them and they lost NAU, and then don't get me started on the NAU going on the road to beat Idaho State. Where was my boy Gus Etchison that night, huh? I needed a hero that night. And obviously,
That's
yeah. And Idaho State, I didn't trust them. And then of course they beat the Grizz when I have money on them. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who to pick these days. It's always.
my god.
Are you ready for the guessing game?
Uh, yes. Do we want to roll through the Saturday games really quick?
Oh, yeah, it's on me. We can't forget the Saturday games. Portland then flips to play UM. Fun game, if especially if MSU wins on Thursday. Portland will
Yeah.
still not technically have clinched it, and it'll be a
Mhm.
revenge game. UM with a
Yes.
chance to maybe get some much needed momentum back. Sac
Yeah.
State then goes and plays MSU. I don't anticipate Sac State winning that game.
No.
There's not much to play for, but you never know. Northern Colorado at Idaho. Um, that would be a revenge game for MSU, by the way. NoCo at Idaho could be kind of fun. Depends on NoCo
Yeah.
does on Thursday too. Um, yeah. Idaho lost to NoCo on the road this year, so a bit of thing. We'll see how that goes. But NoCo is really NoCo's got a win streak going too, so we'll see how they do. NAU at Eastern feels like a game Eastern should win with how well they're playing right now, and a revenge game if they lost on the road, so that'd be fun. And then finally,
Mhm.
Weber plays at Idaho State. Those two played in a rock fight in Ogden earlier on a Saturday afternoon game. Looks like it'll happen maybe again. Gus Etchison hits the court again, most importantly. Has he seen
That
TV
was
Insane before?
yeah. Who hit the game winner for that? There was someone who hit the game winner. I'm pretty sure for that
I know what
game.
you're talking about. Yeah, I don't remember though.
I can't because it wasn't Sane. It was someone else.
I'll pull it up for you. We're talking about Weber and Idaho State, right? When
Yeah.
they played the first
That was a great.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That was
watched
a
the first half. It was yeah,
that
it
was
was
back when like we thought Idaho State. When I thought Idaho State was like
yeah, it was
better than they.
81 to 79, and it was uh let's see uh stand by folks, key plays, all periods. Let's do the second half. Key plays. No, these are just their high ESPN auto highlights.
God.
Thanks, ESPN. I appreciate it. I don't really want to see your uh, all play types. We got to do us. Was it a 2-pointer and a three?
Um, yes, I think it was a 2 pointer.
It was. Well, I think it might have been a three. Or free throws? Hold on.
Uh,
We're in the second half. Oh, maybe I just didn't. Oh, yeah, it was a 3-pointer. It was Ardarius Grayson. Made a go-ahead
right.
3-pointer with 5 seconds left. Okay. You ready for the guessing game?
I am ready for the guessing game. I was just looking up our Darius Grayson,
He's a freshman.
who shout. He's a freshman. Shout out our Darius Grayson. He's got a lot of posts. He did. This one account loves
Okay.
this guy.
Okay.
Crap. Okay.
So his cousin. Um, Based on a recent Twitter stuff, you get to guess the top 3 most followed and least followed Twitter accounts in the Big Sky
No.
as of today, um, February 22nd, 2026. And I
No.
also went through some of their following and found like some of my favorite things, people that they follow, and one of them is a little sus. So anyway, do you want to guess?
No.
You should probably guess the most followed on Twitter Big Sky Conference teams because that's
Is
more
this
relevant
is
here.
this specifically their men's
Yeah, just their
basketball page?
basketball page, not like their
Okay.
athletics page.
Okay. Good to know. The one that is most followed
Mm-hmm.
feels like
I just remembered
I feel like
something funny.
this is I feel like this is is it Sac State or is
Wrong.
it
That's strike one.
uh,
This is on Twitter. Okay, we're not on TikTok.
I don't know. This Listen, people are gonna be like, oh, of course it's this. I don't know. I don't look at follower count. I don't even know how many people follow me on Twitter. Um, but you know what? I'm actually followed by some pretty big clout people. So
Yeah,
check
no
my
big deal.
following.
Let me check as well.
Yeah, I'm followed. Yeah, I'll have
Who's
to
your
look at my
favorite
follower.
Who's your favorite follower?
My favorite follower. It's not you.
Okay,
Um,
thanks.
you follow me on like 3 different accounts, so it's
Okay,
kind of
okay,
hard to.
okay. You got some verified
I was
followers.
I do have some verified followers. Let me. That's. Is there a way for me to like look at? Oh, there's a bunch of people who. These are all
The Rapid
followed
City
by a lot
Rush.
of.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I'm followed by. Yeah,
That's a good
an.
one.
Uh, yeah, that is a great one, by the way. Rapid City Rush. That's a minor league hockey team. Okay,
That's
they
pretty
send
sick.
people to.
I'll give you that one.
That's a Calgary Flames affiliate. Um, I'm followed by John Thayer, radio play-by-play for the South Dakota Coyotes football and basketball, men's basketball. That's pretty good.
Okay, okay.
Uh,
Congrats.
Black Hill State. I'm followed by the Black Hill State soccer team. I just want to point this out. That's pretty good. There's some good. What? This is this is really vain of me looking at this.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Looking at all my follower list. Also, verification on Twitter doesn't even matter.
No, you
People can
just pay
pay
for it
for it.
now.
It's terrible. Am I followed by? I'm followed by the Montana Grizzly NIL account.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's got to be. I'm followed by the Big Sky Men's Hoops like official Twitter account
I don't
too.
know if I
That's
have them.
clout. I have clout. Okay,
Okay,
I'm not gonna look at.
congrats. Congrats.
I'm not gonna look at. I was trying to find a bigger follower than you, which I can't even think. I've been followed by
The
some
only
big.
big one I have I know is Jose Canseco.
There's no. You're followed by Jose Canseco.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm back to the game. I need to get logged back. There's no way you're followed by. Okay, you
Look it
probably
up.
are. And dude, Jose Canseco seems like one of those dudes who just like follows anybody
Yeah,
that likes
there
him.
it is. Jose Canseco. Wait, follows you.
I,
I don't even follow him back.
that's like a power move. You don't even.
He follows 60K people though. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, one of the. What were they? Oh, what was him and Mark McGuire? What were they called? When they were
Steroid
in
users.
Oakland together. Yes, they were. Yes, they had a nickname. The Bash Brothers. That's what they
Oh
were
right,
called.
yeah,
The
yeah,
Bash.
yeah,
Yes, and that they were notoriously.
yeah,
Okay, is it Idaho? Is that one of the? Dude, I don't
one
know.
of the what?
One of the most followed.
No,
Dude, I don't.
strike
It's
two.
just so. Okay, I have an idea for who one of the least followed is.
Okay.
Northern Arizona.
Strike three.
No
So,
way!
number three.
Who-
Okay. Well, we're just gonna read it out, and you're perhaps not ready for what I'm about to send you. So Montana State is the most followed account in the Big Sky,
oh, that actually kind of makes sense
and
because they've
one
won a
account they
lot recently.
follow is Nico Harrison, because he's from Montana State.
Yeah,
I went and
Montana
checked his
State former.
Twitter out. Go ahead and check the photo I sent you, Max.
I'm not
The
looking
first thing
forward
you
to
see
this.
when you go on Nico Harrison's Twitter.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Nico, for those of you at home who don't know, Nico Harrison is now. Oh, okay. He's not the GM, but it appears that maybe he became the GM for um the Sun Rockets of
The C is this the CBA or is this even the CBA? This is even
the Sun
looking him
Rockets.
up. Nico Harrison. My
But
God,
anyway,
this is
I was like, oh, good for him.
this
He's still
is.
got his Mavericks like quarter zip on. Oh, because that's from 2024. That's why. Oh, okay. It's a lot
So
funnier
he's
there. It's a lot funnier if it's not an old photo.
so is he just unemployed right now? Is he not doing anything?
Yeah, Google what's
Jesus,
Nico Harrison up to for me, would you?
I'm. Where is Nico Harrison now?
Okay, so the number two most and I'll say a lot of these Big Sky accounts follow like potential recruits and all their old players is Montana. They have 12,000 followers. Um,
Yeah,
they follow a lot of old players and coaches. Theirs are a little more curated than the other ones. But one thing they do is they do follow Utah, and some you couldn't like some of them I could see. I think that was like, oh, that's probably most of their followers, like 300, like 100. But sometimes like 300, and I could only see certain ones. So I don't know how true
yeah.
this is, but not a lot of other Big Sky schools popped up under Montana's following, but they do follow Utah Tech men's basketball. So that's kind of funny. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, they played like oh gosh, one of I'm pretty sure it was Utah Tech's like first football season as a D1 school. They played them their inaugural year as a D1 school.
Yep.
Back when they were Dixie State. Terrible name, by the way. Utah Tech, significantly better name than Dixie State.
Okay.
Sorry for people who for people who are going to call me woke and say that Dixie State is a terrible name. They call me woke. That's a terrible name, and Utah Tech is way better because it actually feels like a name of. If you put the state and then you put like, it's like Utah State, University of Utah. Tech is like the third off. So that's what you that's like a great name. Or you go directional. So yeah, that's my take.
Number three is Portland State.
I wouldn't. I think the Montana ones were obvious, but I would never gotten that one.
10.6 thousand followers. They followed the Houston Rockets on Twitter, which they Portland State followed some real random ones. Houston Rockets, that was kind of funny to me.
You know why they follow the Houston Rockets, right?
Why?
Because of Ime Udoka, is a former Portland State Viking.
Your guy.
I I know ball. I know
Yeah, that's
ball.
good. That's your guy right there too.
That was well, he was my former guy until he got into a inappropriate work relationship, and now he is no longer my guy. And now Joe Missoula is my guy. Speaking of Joe Missoula, former University of Portland pilot.
No way.
So yes, so you
Oh,
have so the former head coach of the Celtics, Ime Udoka, was a Portland State Viking, and then their new head coach and their championship winning head coach, Joe Missoula, Portland pilot. So
Look at
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Not really a rivalry, but that should be a rivalry though. I think that should be like an out of conference rivalry. Is they should play each other every year. It's Portland and Portland State.
Okay. Number
Anyway,
4 is Weber State, 10.5K, and I'll bet you that 100 Portland State got in the last week because they won the Big Sky. Um, they follow. I thought it was kind of funny. It kind of makes sense because they've definitely played them, but they follow Oral Roberts men's basketball. Weber
hmm.
does. Good for them. 5 is Sac State. They're at 10K. You
Okay.
know, they follow a lot of recruits. They follow J.J. Crawford, um, Jamal
Oh,
Crawford's
okay.
kid who plays for Rainier Beach with who's the number 1 overall recruit? What's his name?
Oh, Tyron Stokes.
Yeah, they play together. Um, I like to see Sac State doing a little recruiting there, maybe trying to get J.J. Crawford to come. That would help their current
Maybe get
ideology.
Tyron.
Um, Tyron Sticks though that has like a factor to it. He's too like not, all those number 1 over recruits do end up getting drafted, like pretty much everyone, even if they were really 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 bad. But like part of his
Yeah,
whole thing, sort of the whole like how many schools he's changed from, does remind me of a guy who could be a Big Sky guy.
yeah,
Eastern Washington is 6, which kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but I guess they had some really good years. 9.4 thousand, and they still follow Pluto TV, which if you'll remember, the Big Sky Conference basketball games used to be on Pluto TV
yeah.
like 2 years. Some of the craziest
That's
commercials I've ever seen. Tuning into Pluto, but it was
yeah, that,
free, so like I didn't hate that. I didn't have to get my ESPN subscription. Number
yeah.
7 is NAU. They have 9.3 thousand followers. And I happen to notice they followed Bet Desert Diamond Sports on Twitter. That's a sports book in Arizona.
Not a good look.
Yeah,
Not a
maybe
good look at all. What
maybe
was
the Idaho assistant SID should log into their account, send off some tweets, and unfollow that account. You can trust that guy.
do we know what
What?
yeah.
You know
Do you know their priest?
something that's really funny that has occurred to me. I don't think he is one, but you know who does work in the Idaho athletic department is
Who?
Colton Kynes, former Montana
Oh yeah,
Grizzly offensive lineman. He's a good he's a
yeah.
good dude. I've talked to him before. Maybe he fired that tweet off. That would be pretty fun. I hope it was him. Also, do you think
Colton,
Alex
we'll get
Tribble saw that and was like, "Boys, we should have taken this one down. We can't call Sac State last chance you on Twitter."
Alex Pribble's probably pissed, man.
Yeah, he's mad.
I like I like Pribble too. He's probably infuriated. Also, let's get Colton Kynes on the pod, okay? Colton, this is your official invitation.
Yeah, if
Come
you're
on the pod.
listening
We can
this
talk.
far into our podcast, come
I
on the pod.
I feel because I know he had his football career got cut short, unfortunately, due to injuries. So, um, yeah. But Colton, we like you over here. We empathize with your journey, and we want to know who sent that
Yeah, who sent
tweet.
that tweet? Tweeted that.
So it was you or someone else. So
The
come
the
on
eighth
over.
the eighth most followed, so bottom 3 is Idaho State. They have 9,000 followers on Twitter. Maybe Gus Etchison will give them some more. They
Yeah.
liked my tweet about Gus Etchison. Um, they follow Tyler Patterson, former Montana State Bobcat. So they must have followed him when they were
Well,
like recruiting him in the portal and stuff, and they just keep following him.
yeah. I mean, that's fair. Might as
Um,
well.
Idaho is the second least followed, which is funny because I feel like they might be getting a couple after this week. 8.4K.
Yeah.
Maybe they knew this metric.
Yeah.
They're like, no one really pays attention to our account. All the other accounts sell more. They follow University of Texas Rio Grande Valley men's basketball team. I thought that was kind of funny.
What?
And
Okay.
the least followed, even though they're like always kind of good, is Northern Colorado, which kind of makes
Yeah.
sense, right? I don't know. And they follow the Colorado men's basketball team, which I think is kind of funny since they beat them this year. Speaking of, hey, Idaho also follows Kimberly Eck, the wife of former head coach Jason Eck. She's got a funny active Twitter account. Football
Yeah.
coach's wife, Mama Five. She's a blogger too.
Shout out. The
Kimberly Eck.
X. That was a that was a good era for Idaho. the Jason Eck era.
You don't like Thomas
Short
Ford.
lived. No, I like Thomas
Oh,
Ford a
okay.
lot. I just think Jason Eck was like really good for
He would
them.
have been really
And
good.
I think I like Thomas Ford a lot. I think they should keep him around. This is not a football podcast, but if you want my opinion, I like Thomas Ford. You are officially invited onto the Big Sky, onto the
Well,
20th
maybe we'll
County.
do a Bay Sky football podcast in the fall, and then we can bring in Thomas Ford.
Yeah, well, Thomas, we'll bring you in. I like you. I vouched for you, maybe not publicly, but in my brain, when Jason Eck got the job in New Mexico, I was like, they better move up Thomas Ford. And they did, and deservedly so. I just hope you guys could get better than you were last year because that was a tough season for the V's.
You know, he didn't have like a winning record as a head coach when they hired him. Cause he was one of those guys
Uh,
that he coached for St. Francis in Canada, and they were not good. Fun fact.
yeah, but that's
Oh,
okay.
Idaho
I
also
mean,
follows Prophet Johnson on Twitter. I'm going through their Twitter following.
Robert Johnson was the apple of the eye of many
Yeah,
Big
well,
Sky
I'm sure
teams,
they
clearly.
remembered when he played at Sac State. And it's like, I thought I was pretty good at Sac State, so they like tried to get him back, you know. But anyway, that's all I have from this week of the podcast. Anything else from you, Max?
Um, no, can't figure out what Nico Harrison's doing right now. To be honest with you,
Keep an eye on that.
it is. Yeah, we'll keep you updated on all the Big Sky news, where Nico Harrison is, that kid from Florida, whether or not he's a part of a South African blood diamond trade family. Um,
Former Saxon, the Twitter beef on
former,
Big Sky. Who tweeted that account from you know.
we're on the case, even though this podcast is not journalists. That's our journalism. Is we're gonna hunt that down. Colton Kynes, you're officially invited onto the
Unless it was,
20
it
years
could
in
have been
counting.
him. It could have been him.
And if it is, then we'll get we could also get whatever Jarek Walcott. We'll get him on too.
Or Gus Etchison.
Gus Gus Etchison, he probably knows. Gus, you are officially invited,
I don't think he
and we
wants to
want to hear.
talk about Idaho right now, though.
But they beat them every year at home since 2017, as was evident by
True. Yeah.
uh, the magical stat that you didn't look at
I should have. That I
before
should have looked
betting.
at.
the one that, the one stat that maybe would have, was that like the only game. Actually, I think you definitely lost more games than that week, but still.
Okay.
I'm just making the assumption.
Okay.
We haven't had a perfect week in a while, so
We have not. I had a perfect week.
yeah.
The third week of
I
the season, and
like
then you had a perfect week the first and the second. We both went perfect week
I
one.
yeah, I had back-to-back perfect weeks, and now it's been
Yeah.
downhill.
Yeah. All right. This podcast is over.